The boy's voice was barely louder than the falling snow, yet it stopped a billionaire's heart cold. "Mom said Santa forgot us again." Those 6 words drifted through the December night like something fragile, something that could shatter if touched too hard. They hung in the air beneath a flickering street lamp at the edge of the city, far from the laughter and glowing windows just a few blocks away. And when they reached a man sitting alone on a frozen bus stop bench, they cracked open a place inside him he had spent years sealing shut. The city was alive with Christmas. Storefronts shimmered with lights. Carols spilled out of restaurants, and families hurried along sidewalks with wrapped gifts tucked under their arms. The scent of roasted chestnuts and sugar hung in the cold air. Everywhere, joy pressed close, loud and warm. But none of it reached this corner. Here, the street was quiet. Snow dusted the metal bench, and the wind sliced through coats and gloves without mercy. The bus stop looked forgotten, like the last page of a book no one bothered to finish. Mark Grant sat at the far end of the bench, shoulders hunched, a paper cup of coffee growing colder in his gloved hand. He wore an expensive coat, tailored shoes, the kind of things people notice in boardrooms and glossy magazines. But tonight, none of that mattered. His hair was unkempt, his face hollowed by a kind of exhaustion sleep could never fix. His eyes stared ahead, unfocused, gray and distant, like a man waiting for something he already knew wasn't coming. Across from him sat a young woman and her son. The woman's coat was thin, clearly not made for nights like this. Her boots were worn, soles uneven from too much walking. She held her boy close, rubbing his small hand between hers, breathing warmth into them. Her smile came easily when he looked up at her, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. The boy was small for his age, maybe 6. His nose was red from the cold, his sweater sleeves too short, his jeans riding up above his ankles. He kept glancing down the road, hopeful every time headlights appeared. "Is that our bus, Mommy?" he asked softly as another SUV passed. The woman shook her head, brushing his hair back. "No, sweetheart, just someone else going home." The word home lingered between them. The boy nodded, then went quiet again, his gaze drifting to the glowing windows of nearby houses. He watched silhouettes move inside, families gathering around tables, trees sparkling in the corners of living rooms. Warm so close he could almost feel it, yet impossibly far away. The wind picked up. Snow swirled harder. She pulled him tighter against her chest, and he leaned into her shoulder, eyes growing heavy. The bus stop fell into silence. Then came the whisper. "Mom said Santa forgot us again." Mark's hand froze around the coffee cup. He didn't breathe. He didn't blink. Slowly, as if something unseen had tugged at him, he turned his head. The boy's face was turned downward now, voice small, matter-of-fact. Like this was simply how the world worked. Like forgetting was normal. Something inside Mark split open. That voice, that exact tone, it dragged a memory out of the dark and slammed it into him without warning. His daughter, Emily, standing by the window years ago on Christmas Eve, pressing her hands to glass as snow fell outside. She had been the same age, same hopeful sound when she spoke, same belief that promises mattered. He had promised to be home early that night. Instead, he stayed at the office, chasing numbers, taking calls, telling himself he had time. Emily had drawn him a picture to surprise him with. She had waited and waited. He never made it home. Mark swallowed hard, blinking against a sudden sting in his eyes. The woman noticed his gaze and shifted instinctively, pulling her son a little closer. Her shoulders stiffened, protective. Before she could turn away, Mark spoke. His voice came out low, careful, like he was afraid of breaking something already cracked. Slowly, he pulled one AirPod from his ear, then the other. His hand dropped from the keys. Emma glanced up briefly, startled, then looked away, already bracing for the familiar discomfort of being seen and dismissed. Julia, however, looked straight at him. She didn't ask for anything. She didn't look afraid. She simply looked strong. Isaac took a breath, then walked toward them, his steps deliberate, unhurried. He stopped beside the bench, removed the AirPods completely, and slid them into his pocket. Without saying a word, he sat down. The silence that followed was not awkward. It was warm, unexpectedly so. Isaac rested his hands on his knees, unsure who should speak first. Emma adjusted her coat, sitting a little straighter, still trying to understand why this man, clearly from another world, had chosen not to walk away. Julia pulled out a small drawing pad and a red crayon, her fingers moving carefully as she began to sketch. Isaac glanced down. "How old is she?" he asked quietly. Emma hesitated, then answered, 4. Her name's Julia." Isaac nodded as Julia drew 2 stick figures sitting on a bench, one tall, one small. Above them, in uneven letters, she wrote, "Me and Mommy waiting at the hospital." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small tin, offering a peppermint. Julia looked up at her mother for permission. Emma nodded slightly. Julia accepted it with both hands, as if it were something precious. "Thank you," she whispered. Isaac stayed only a few minutes longer. When he stood, he offered a brief goodbye and walked back inside. Emma watched him go, assuming that was the end of it. But Isaac didn't leave. He went straight to the reception desk. "Patient name?" he asked quietly. "Julia Carter." The receptionist looked up. "Are you family?" "No," Isaac replied, "but I'd like to take care of her balance." He paid everything: 6 months of therapy, advanced medication, testing, inpatient care, everything foreseeable. He gave no name, no explanation, then he left. Later that afternoon, Emma returned to the billing office, heart pounding, ready to beg for a payment plan she knew she couldn't afford. "There's nothing to arrange," the clerk said gently. "Your daughter's care has been fully covered." Emma stared. "By who?" The woman hesitated. "It was processed anonymously, but the foundation is tied to Mr. Isaac Hull." The name hit her like a sudden gust of cold air. She ran. She spotted him crossing the parking lot and called out. He turned as she approached, breathless and shaking. "You can't just do that," she said. "I didn't ask for this. I don't want to owe you anything." "You don't," Isaac replied calmly. "I had a daughter once. I missed a lot. I thought I had time. I didn't." He met her eyes. "I don't feel sorry for you. I saw a mother doing everything she could, and a little girl who deserved more. I helped because I could. No conditions." Julia ran up and hugged his leg. "I'm going to draw you the best picture ever," she said, "so you don't feel sad anymore." Isaac smiled. "I'd like that." From that day on, things changed quietly. Emma kept her distance at first, carefully, but slowly, trust crept in. She began writing again, 1 story a week, no contract, no promises, just words. Isaac read every one. Julia drew pictures for him. He kept them all. One night, a story cracked something open in him, a butterfly drawn in orange crayon, a memory he had buried. He cried for the first time since his daughter died. Months later, Emma declined a major publishing offer. She was already writing for someone who had believed first. They met again in bookstores, in parks, on rainy nights when trust was tested and proven. And then came the night everything nearly fell apart. Julia seized. Emma ran. Sirens echoed in her head. When Emma collapsed on a hospital bench, Isaac appeared without explanation, without hesitation. He held her while she cried. He stayed through the night. When she slept, he folded his coat and placed it beneath her head. A doctor whispered, watching him, and so kind. I've never seen a CEO do something so simple. Later, Emma visited Isaac's office for the first time. She saw the books, the drawings framed on the wall, and then she noticed a photo. A little girl with crooked butterfly wings drawn in orange crayon. "Sarah," Isaac said softly, "my daughter." Emma didn't speak. She didn't need to. The story ends the same way it began. On a hospital bench. But this time, no one is alone. And somewhere between grief and kindness, 2 broken lives learned that sometimes the most powerful thing a person can do isn't fixing the world. It's simply sitting down when everyone else walks away. If this story touched your heart, stay with us. More moments like this, where quiet kindness changes everything, are waiting just ahead.